Unrecord is one of the most anticipated games coming out soon, and it's coming to VR. Let's talk about how. Probably one of the most realistic games we have ever seen, and if you haven't seen it, you're definitely missing out. Unrecord shows us that GoPro type essential body cam aspect, which screams virtual reality in the first place. So I'm hoping they're able to really configure this. But Unrecord came out in recent days. Everybody's had like criticism about it, and they're skeptical about it. Some people are doubting it. Some other people are possibly overrating it and cheering it on. All we know right now is that Unrecord is really looking like a hype game, kind of like Tarkov on steroids in a weird way, depending on how you actually utilize it. If it's the same looting aspect, the same type of PvE, PvP, and also of course if it's extraction type game. It does look far more tactical, of course. It is not your typical arcade shooter. Now, how does this come into play with it coming to virtual reality? Well, in one of my earlier videos, I talked about the Unreal VR Universal mod. This mod is an injector from PreyDog and also been showing from Flat2VR on Twitter. This Universal mod is attempting to be the savior of virtual reality, as virtual reality is kind of stagnant at this moment. This is bringing AAA flat games and it brings them on over to PC VR. This is not a standalone essential. This is PC VR. Now, 90% of 255 games have been confirmed that this universal mod can bring over these. In the actual game mode, you see that GoPro, you see that shadow fisheye lens type essential, like it's a GoPro, right? You can see that in that type of point of view. In VR, it doesn't necessarily bring that, but you can actually add that viewership in virtual reality. It always gives you an option to do that in settings to really dive into the game and to make it feel as realistic as possible. This game is bred for virtual reality. Now, there are a lot of games that can be amazing in virtual reality, but sometimes virtual reality just does not deliver. Virtual reality is very early in its content and very early in where they're trying to aim for. This is a very much in-depth game just based on the trailer alone, and being able to perform at this level. Now, there is a small preview for VR that just shows like the stage environment. It already doesn't look the same, but this was more adopted from the beginning when they first released this Unrecord gameplay. Unrecord has been updated since and showed a drastic trailer that is like really mind-blowing, and if it's real, I had to say, man, this looks crazy insane. But to get it to VR level is that there is a lot of stability issues you can see when they're showing the virtual reality version of it. There's just a lot of things that don't look as realistic as the way it is in PC. If they can get that PC and bring it right on over to PC VR in that mod aspect, then that's going to be huge. One game that really does that well is Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia does it really well, where their game looks like that and you bring it into virtual reality and it still looks the exact same, other than the controls and everything, of course. Being able to highly adapt and adopt this type of game would be massive for virtual reality enthusiasts, including myself. An example of why this can be huge for virtual reality is that Ghost of Tabor is very popular because it is like a Tarkov quote-unquote extraction shooter, and I believe a lot of people are trying to move away from, of course, arena shooters have been done. They're not as popular as they used to be anymore. A lot of people are wondering, okay, well, what's next? Then battle royales had also not been delivering as much, as a lot of people have been complaining about Warzone. Now, Tarkov is something that has great graphics. It has that extraction essential. And bringing on this now is like an upgraded version of it. If it plays somewhat the same, people are loving these extraction shooters now. That's kind of more of the style and the trend now. That's why Ghost of Tabor in VR is really popular right now, because extraction type, realism, tactical shooters, the more you can get immersed. Can we get immersed enough in a game to really involve ourselves and to really invest our time and energy into it? And virtual reality is supposed to be that at this moment. It's supposed to be an immersive platform that hasn't been delivering due to its being in its early stages and not really having the greatest graphics of all time. But if you can actually adopt the way this game looks and bring it on over to virtual reality, this is going to be insane. This is a wild looking game, but it screams virtual reality when you're having it just playing it on the PC version. This is what virtual reality needs to be able to grasp onto, and to make it actually look like that. It doesn't have to look exactly like it, but it has to get near to that fact, especially PC VR. PC VR has no excuses to not be delivering games like this, adaptation of the game, basically an extension of the game. PSVR 2 is doing great with that, but the thing is, nobody's trying to take it to this hyper realistic type view according to where VR should be going. So this game proves this is where VR should be going. So with this universal mod injector with the PreyDog, if they can actually get it, you know, a little bit more stabilized, give us a little bit sharper on the graphics, because right now on the universal mod in the video that I'm showing, it shows more of the earlier version. So if they can get this in a later version, then we're really talking being able to take VR to possibly the highest level we had ever seen it. Realism, a tactical, an extraction type game, and that can deliver at a high processing rate, at high frames, at higher hertz, and just high performance gamers in general. And that's what VR should be, because VR costs so much money, and for it to not deliver those types of graphics that we pay for is a reason why. It takes a long time to set up VR. It takes a long time to be able to do all these things in VR. And if the game doesn't look like the way Unrecord looks, pretty much a flop in my opinion, because these are the way games are supposed to be aiming toward, or at least the way Tarkov looks. The board, like what I said, is just kind of like a Tarkov, but the graphics ain't near close to what Tarkov gives us. If this mod can start giving devs ideas and inspiration to what can really be an extension of PC to PC VR for virtual reality, especially with the amounts of money that we pay versus just a gaming animation perspective, but giving us a realism, immersion, effective and emotional like attachment to a game and to an experience. Now it becomes an experience more than just a game. I think that's where it'll take off to the next level, man. I gotta let me know, have y'all seen the Unrecord trailer? Would you be down for trying to get this in virtual reality? I know I would. This screams virtual reality and it has to come, man. Let me know in the comment section below. Peace.